The Midwestern Karen entitlement is real, and I just had a full-on Midwestern fight with a Karen in the pharmacy section of the Cub Foods, and I need to tell you guys the story because that is a real sentence that literally just happened. There's just something about this story with everything that's happening going on that's just so on brand right now. It's too good to be true. Okay, so for starters, I'm already pissed off at this point because for the last week and a half, I have been trying to get my birth control refilled. I have been taking it since I was 15 years old, and I'm on it because it literally keeps me alive. And yet every single time I need to refill it, it is a whole song and dance because women can't just have easy access to the medications that keep them alive. We love the American healthcare system. Also, shameless plug and reminder, early voting has started in Minnesota and Wisconsin, so get out there and vote because they are trying to make this somehow even more difficult than it already is. But of course, I have terrible health insurance, so I try to avoid also going to the doctor as much as possible. So every time I run out of refills for this, I have to figure out which doctor I went to last that gave this to me, and it's always a song and dance, and I can never quite track it down. And they always want me to come in to pay like $300 for another visit for them to just look at me and go, okay, you can it's like I'm pissed about the whole process. I've been on it for over a decade. Just keep giving it to me. Anyways, at a certain point between traveling for work and everyone refusing to fill this for me without an appointment, I am now out of the medication, so things are starting to get scary. I finally contact a doctor who can see me next week on Wednesday, and they say that they can fill it before that since we already have an appointment on the books. Okay, that's a promising and strong start, and now I've already officially been off of this for a few days, so things are starting to get scary. I am trying to call now every day, multiple times, to see if they have my prescription filled, but the line is dead. The line to this Cub pharmacy, for some reason, always just doesn't work. So I'm finally back in town today running my errands before I head off to Wisconsin, where I get to go and help more on the ground there, and again, remind everyone that early voting has already started, so get out there and vote. But I'm like, okay, yeah, I need this refilled before I leave. I cannot leave at this point without it, or else I might end up in a random Wisconsin hospital with more insane medical bills that I can't afford to pay. You know the whole thing. So I drive to Cub Foods finally, just so I can walk up and be like, hey, where are we at with this? But I'm unfortunately in line behind this man who's trying to figure out how to get one of his relatives' Adderall filled, which, as we all know, is the most difficult process ever, which is why I just went off of that completely years ago, even though I do need it. But we can only fight so many medications at a time here. I had to pick one, and I decided with enough coffee and determination I could somehow raw dog life. Anyways, I'm standing in line behind this man who's taking forever, of course. I'm just on my phone answering work emails. Karen gets in line behind me, and we're standing there for a long time. No shade, I just decide to sit down on the chair that's literally right next to me. Like, I look like I'm still in line if you're looking, but Karen's been there the whole time as well. And so eventually another pharmacist comes up to the second window, and she goes, I can help whoever's next. I start to subtly stand up because I am indeed next. I've been there way longer than Karen, and Karen rushes up. She cuts me off in the way where I'm almost like blown back into my seat. And she goes, I'm ready. And she is locking eyes straight forward with the pharmacist at this point on purpose because you could feel my death stare right at the back of her head. All of my frustration was radiating at 200 degrees of this 40, 30-something-year-old Karen who absolutely needed to cut me off right then and there and couldn't wait just a little while longer. And because I literally have no filter at all and a very short temper, I just blurt out, oh, okay, that's not how lines work, but your turn. And she still refuses to look back at me, but you can see her visually tense up because she knows what she's done, and I'm not just going to let her get away with it. I'm going to announce it to the entire section. You need to feel the shame that you deserve in that moment, ma'am. But then the next pharmacist is like, next person, very nice, very lovely. She says it's going to be about 15 to 20 minutes until we can fill this, but if you can hang around, we got it for you. And I said, I can hang around. Let me paint the visual. My sunglasses are on. I'm standing there next to Karen, she can feel me. She can feel my presence. She can feel that I'm not letting this go. I've never once historically in my life ever let anything go. But then eventually, because she's taking so long, I go to wander the sections, right? And you can sense she's like scared to leave. She knows that I'm there. I'm waiting to make her uncomfortable as she walks past so she can feel the full weight of the shame she should be feeling. And now to really sell the point, I put my sunglasses up because I have a pretty good resting happy face in public usually, unless I'm zoned in on something. But that Karen rounds the corner, accidentally makes eye contact with me, and I just go, and she zooms off. This woman, she's gone. She's sprinting out the door at that point. And then, of course, the pharmacist calls me back up, hands me my prescription. We wish each other a wonderful day. They might have gotten a little bit of kick out of it at this point, because you got to get your kicks where you can in this life. Honestly, at this point, they should just hire me to be one of those walkers who protects women going into Planned Parenthood against protesters, because I could not bite my tongue if you paid me. If you come in between me and my medications, it's going to be a problem, Karen. But that was the Midwestern woman equivalent of a full-on fist fight in the middle of a store, okay? I don't mess around when it comes to birth control and women's reproductive care, okay? I'm a fighter, and I'm gonna keep fighting. I will see you all in Wisconsin.